Hey, Okay. Okay. Well, welcome everybody. Thank you for joining everybody today here in Manistee, or there in Manistee. My name is Mike Hess. I'm the 2019 president of the Michigan Society for Respiratory Care. I wish I could be there in person with you today, but I am here in Kansas, actually, hoping to advocate on behalf of our profession for the creation of a pulmonary disease educator credential. Hopefully, that'll be coming down the pipeline soon. This has been a pretty big year for MSRC. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about. Hopefully, I won't cut into too much of the time. I know we had some technical things getting started here, so without further ado, I'm going to jump into some of the stuff. We had hoped to do this over a Skype connection, so we have some limited interactive stuff. You can see at the bottom of the screen here. You can send me an email. Keeping an eye on my email. You can chat on the Facebook page. Hopefully, if anybody can find it, you can find my Mike Hess page on YouTube, and it should be streaming there. Although I guess there's some technical issues, but in any event, let me know what you're thinking. My inbox is always open. I'm always happy to hear from people with ideas or who want to volunteer, any of that good stuff. So first off, the best part of this job is often trying to celebrate some of our champions in respiratory care. This spring at the spring conference, we had our traditional President's Award, which went to a gentleman by the name of Chris Coulter. Chris works over at the U of M. He is deeply involved in our membership committee and our communications committee, and does about 15 different hats with the society, and is a frequent advocate on behalf of respiratory therapists throughout the state and, of course, well beyond. For the first time this year, we also gave out an award honoring the memory of Homer Engert. Homer was one of our founding members of the MSRC, a driving force in respiratory throughout the state for many, many years. Started a couple of different programs in the hospital, a couple of different educational programs, and he passed away toward the end of last year. And we wanted to do a Practitioner of the Year award for a while, and we finally were able to do that. We had somebody to name it after. We had a very nice piece of custom artwork done. We have that celebrates where there is breath, there is life. And this is going to be our celebration of practitioners throughout the future of the MSRC, hopefully. Our inaugural winner goes by the name of Stephanie Marcinkiewicz from over on the east side of the state. Stephanie is doing a lot with simulation, works incredibly tirelessly on behalf of RTs through the MSRC, through the members of her district, and of course students, faculty, staff, everybody who she came very well nominated, and she was a great choice to kick off this event, or this trophy. We're hoping to also add in 2020 additional awards for specialty practitioners, such as Educator of the Year and Leader, Manager, Director of the Year, as well as potentially some other stuff that we haven't quite ironed out yet, but hopefully we want to do a better job of celebrating all the folks involved in respiratory care. Speaking of celebrating, we also have a winner in your midst. Our Lifetime Achievement Award goes to this year to somebody again tirelessly working on behalf of RTs throughout the state. A long and storied history of participation, innovation, contribution. What else can you say? I'm going to take a pause for just a second so everybody can give a nice round of applause and celebrate Karen Kane for us. All right, I'm not in the interest of cutting loose and not having quite as much interaction as would be ideal. We'll go ahead and keep on moving forward. Of course, there are some big things coming up nationally and at the state level with lobbying efforts. A big part of the MSRC is not just to celebrate, but also to help move the profession forward. At the national level, hopefully you've all been watching the progression of our virtual lobby campaigns. We can still go on social media using these hashtags on Facebook, Twitter. Contact your representatives, contact everybody who you think can be a good voice for our profession. They can go to this website down here. This is our phone to action website, where you can get preformed letters, tweets, emails, all that kind of stuff to help drive telehealth forward. This initiative is trying to get respiratory therapists involved, recognized through Medicare as telehealth practitioners. We were able to, we're trying to convince them to do a 3-year pilot program to study the effectiveness of that. And I think, bugs aside, I think we can see the relevance and the utility of telehealth simply by this setting here. Here I am about 600 miles away, but speaking with you, and if we had slightly better, a slightly more ideal setup, we'd be able to communicate in real time. Be that as it may, this is the kind of thing that is going to be continuing to drive us forward in the future. In addition, at the state level, we've got a couple of things going on. You may have noticed, if you've been on our website the last 2 weeks or so, we have completely refreshed it. This is serving a couple of ends here. First of all, we wanted it to look a little bit nicer, and we're hoping to add some more features because we recognize that it hasn't always been the most user-friendly place to get information. But we're also starting to populate some position statements and that sort of thing on there. If you go into the About section, you can start seeing some of our position statements on where we stand as professionals and how we're going to move forward with that. And we're doing that because this fall we are going to be starting a new lobbying push at the state level to kind of modernize our Practice Act. We want to strengthen it. We want to add some continuing education to it so that we can make sure that we're all ready to practice at the top of our license. And we've been told that the best way to go about that is for our state society to be very proactive in determining our positions, and then that way our legislators can look to that and say, yes, there is support for that. Yes, this is the standard for professionalism, and so on and so forth. So be on the lookout. We'll be contacting everybody soon to get your support with contacting our state legislators so that we can have a modern, fully effective, fully functional Practice Act. One thing that you will not notice on our website, and I have had a couple of questions about this, is there is not currently a place for you to join MSRC. That is because, and this is a new announcement, you guys are first, you folks are first to hear about this officially. As of the Tory, well, basically, for all intents and purposes right now, you no longer will have to pay a separate membership fee to be an active MSRC member. One of my biggest goals for the year is, again, to provide additional value for memberships. We wanted to make it as easy as possible for you to be a member, reduce as many barriers as we could to membership, so that, because with all of these legislative pushes, we need to have all hands on deck. We need people to be engaged. We need people to help us out so that we can all row the boat together and move all of us forward. And the best way to do that is to make it as easy and as painless as possible to be a member. So, breaking with long-standing tradition, and after no shortage of debate and discussion and intense discussion, we have decided that one of those barriers is to again remove that that separate membership fee from the MSRC. In addition to that, through partnership with AARC, we are working on being able to provide discounted AARC memberships when purchased through MSRC. We can purchase them in bulk, and then people can purchase them through MSRC and then get a little bit of a break, again trying to make it as easy as possible for everybody to join together and make sure that your voice is heard. So that is, in a nutshell, what we're doing at the state level, hopefully pushing forward at the national level. And again, I hope that we can get everybody engaged. I know in this room, I'm sure I'm speaking to the choir since you're already engaged at a meeting, hopefully supporting MSRC, your district, your speakers. Hopefully we can get more of your peers on board. Hopefully we can expand our voice through the reduction of barriers, and hopefully through providing some additional value, frankly. We haven't always been the greatest at communicating our value, whether it's our professional value to administrators or whether it's our organizational value to our constituents. We need to do a better job at that. And fortunately, you also have in the room next year's president, Nick Prush, who is an incredibly innovative and progressive leader who has been invaluable in helping push a lot of these initiatives forward. And we're going to keep that momentum going under his leadership next year. Hopefully we've got a few more things to wrap up before the end of 2019, but we're definitely in good hands moving forward with people like Karen, with people like Nick, with people like you. So if anybody has any questions, again, my inbox is always open. You can find me fairly easily through the MSRC Facebook page by contacting our office. Joanna, our society administrator, can get stuff to me pretty quickly. We've got the fall conference coming up in a couple of weeks in Frankenmuth. If anybody wants to make that drive across the state, we've got a great lineup, as you do in District 2 there today. So in summary, I'd also like to thank all the speakers. Everybody worked together to put together the District 2 conference, which I've watched grow over the years into what always has been a fantastic event, but it's growing by leaps and bounds every year. I appreciate the effort everybody puts into it. Appreciate everybody's support, and I look forward to meeting more of you in the coming years. So I have one question about licensure. Again, we are working to kind of modernize our license and add some continuing education to that. We'll be having the one thing I have learned about legislation is that it moves very, very slowly. We have a lot of we're building a lot of the foundations to push that forward. So that we can actually have a true license rather than something that basically you just pay for. We want to strengthen that to help protect our own practice. We want to make sure, again, that all RTs are prepared. Hopefully everybody, one of the first steps from that came through from our Licensing and Regulatory Affairs Agency, LARA, is that all healthcare professionals have to have a training in human trafficking. So hopefully everybody is getting on board with that by the end of this year, this license cycle. But we also want to make sure that we have high quality educational events so that everybody is caught up with the latest and greatest. Conferences like this will count for that continuing education. And we want to make sure that it is a strong and powerful license to protect your practice. If we've got any other questions, I'll stick around for a moment here. I got to peek over to the Facebook page, and I'm not seeing any comments there. But we're going to give it just a second here. And again, if anybody pops up with anything later on, certainly can email me, message me, Facebook. You can find us on Twitter. MSRC has a Twitter. I have, we've got all kinds of contact information. Happy to answer any questions, provide any guidance that I can, and support you however I possibly can. With that, I think we'll go ahead and wrap up here. I know we started a little bit late and we're wrapping up a little bit late, and you've got a great panel of speakers. So again, I appreciate everybody coming out today. One last question. We were working on some of the fine details, but basically the question was about the membership. There's no link on the website, so how do you become a member? Anybody who is a member of AARC, an active member of AARC, is an active member of MSRC. This is in accordance with the AARC's policies and guidelines, which we have actually been not in alignment with in previous years, and we are now. So we're working on a plan to disseminate um, the coupons, the discount coupons. But for right now, basically, it serves that if you are an AARC member, you are an MSRC member. We no longer have associate and active and all that kind of stuff. Student members are going to belong to the early professional program, again in accordance with AARC guidelines. If you're a student and you join the early professional program at phase 1 and phase 2, you are considered a student for discount purposes. For we'll still have the student discount for programs and that sort of thing, as AARC does. And then as you enter the workforce, as you begin your careers, it's a graduated cost process. And then, but once you are in that third year of the program, you are considered a full active member. We will have, once we get the coupons, we will have those available on our website. But again, this is something that's been in the works for a little while, and I wanted to share with everybody that this is very, very soon to be a reality for us. So. I'm going to try and get Karen here and see if we've got any other questions or answers to go on. So I think that is about it. I appreciate everybody coming out today. And if you have any other questions or anything, we'll make sure and get them through Karen. And thanks for letting me have some of your morning today.